All right. So I'm going to make the explanation videos for the reading practice materials. This way you'll understand why your answers are right or why your answers are wrong. Because just by knowing what's right and what's wrong, you don't actually learn anything, right? So I've actually made these videos before for these questions, but I didn't like the way that the videos looked. So I actually removed them. So let's try it again. I'm gonna make them again, and I'll start with the reading fill in the blanks, just so you have an idea of what is gonna be coming. All right, so I'll take the very first one, and I'm gonna try to make a video for every single one of these, all like 160 questions. Okay, so let's take the first one. Journey of 1,000 steps starts with the first step. Is that right? I don't know if I quoted right. So there's a lot of questions, and I'm starting with the first video. But I've made these before. I think I got to like 10, and then I was like, nah, I don't like it. I'm gonna start over. So here we go. This is way too small. Let's make it bigger. Okay, so can we fit one more? Yeah, there you go. This is a good size right here, right here. So this is the reading fill in the blanks. And again, I'm gonna do it for all of the reading questions. But you know I ain't gonna touch the multiple choice, right? If you're still trying to answer the multiple choice questions, you're doing something wrong. All right, so here in the reading fill in the blanks, some of you can just read this and you're able to identify the answer right away. No grammar involved. That's good for you because you have a good level of English. Some people sometimes will get confused. And if you're not sure what the answer is, now we can apply grammatical rules. I'll show you where you can find clues to basically increase your chances of answering the question correctly, right? Because that's all we really need. We need the high level opportunity, the high chance of answering these questions correctly. So with the first blank right here, I don't usually read the sentences. The first thing I do is, obviously this is the blank, I look before and after the blank. So before the blank right here, I see the word the nation. The nation. Nation automatically, I know it's a noun, a person, a place, or a thing, right? And with the, that automatically tells me this is a noun. And then the next one right here, after the blank, it's. Well, anything that deals with the word it, whether this is a possessive adjective or not, whenever you are using the word it, you're dealing with a noun somewhere, either there or shortly after. Okay, so this is going to be another one, another noun. So what can we have where it's a noun, blank, and then a noun? Most likely it's going to be a sentence. Most likely you're looking for a verb. Okay, now we just have to double check. Do we have any verbs up here at the beginning of the sentence? No, we don't. So there you go. This is your sentence where we have the noun, verb, noun. Verb creates the sentence. We don't have a verb yet, so now I know. And when we look at the blanks, we have a verb here. Anything with the ed is a verb, right? We have another one here. Do you agree that remains is a verb as well? Right? And then do we have any more? I because, I while, I endures, I endure. That is a verb. I continent? No. Do you hear what I'm saying to myself? I check to see if it's a verb by saying the word I plus the word. Obviously, I'll take the S off, okay, or even the ed if you want. But I suffer, I enjoy, I remain, and I endure. All of those sound good. Those are verbs, okay? Now, with that said, do you see that even though we got 4 options, we don't really have 4 options? Why do I say that? Well, do you agree that two of the verbs are past tense, right? 2 of them got eds right here, and 2 of them do not, right? These right here have the s's on them, okay? So that means we're dealing with either present tense or past tense. So is there anything here that can determine, like if you look at the whole sentence, that's really long, right? Do you see anything that can help determine whether we're looking at a present tense or a past tense? 1999 tells you past tense, right? Because we're not living in 1999 anymore. So if we're dealing with the past tense, I would say this verb is gone and this verb is also gone. We're dealing with these two verbs. Okay? Now, if that's not enough, this is already 50-50. It's already 50-50. Two options. Not 7, not 8. You only have two choices to go in there. And now when you look at it and you still feel like, I don't know what the answer is, then you can try to use positive and negative. This won't be available every time, but you can definitely try. So let's take a look. With the word suffered and enjoyed, maybe let's pretend you don't know the word suffered, but you know the word enjoy. Everybody knows the word enjoy, right? Would you say that's a positive word or a negative word? I would say it's positive, right? Then let's say endured is the negative. I'm sorry, suffered. I read it wrong. It's not endured. Endured and suffered means similar things, okay? So we have a negative and a positive. Then let's check to see inside this sentence right here. Do you see anything? Let me get rid of all the lines, all right? It might be confusing for us. Let's get rid of the lines. Now, inside this sentence, do you see any words that are negative? If you do, we move in the negative. If you don't, we move in the positive. Would you agree that this right here, budget deficit. Deficit is a negative word. If you don't know what it means not enough. Not enough of something. Budget means money. So not enough money. Oh my goodness, when is that ever a good thing, right? So we're thinking negative. And remember, this was the negative, this was the positive. So let's move that over. All right, so now it's shifted a little bit. And that's what I would select here. You notice we're moving so damn slow. If you answer this the way that I'm answering it, you'll be out of time by answering one question. The entire test is over. But I'm explaining the reason. I'm explaining my thought process anytime I am not sure about an answer. Okay? So let's look at the next one. The next one, the blank is here. The word before the blank is years. And then after the blank, it's a preposition. You know what that tells me? It tells me usually before preposition, it's supposed to be a noun. Okay? Supposed to be. However, when you look at the word years, we know for sure. For anyone that didn't understand that, I meant for sure. But I like to say for sure. That's got to be the noun. Why? Because only the noun can be the plural form. So you see years right here. Even before that, it says 16 years. This has got to be the noun. All right? So if that is the noun, then that means this blank right here cannot be a noun. But then it cannot be a lot of other things either, right? You can't put a verb there, right? You cannot put a verb there because we already have the verb suffered. So you can't have two verbs in one sentence without a linking word. So you know we're not looking at verbs no more. So this is gone, this is gone, this is gone, and that's it. And we also know we cannot put a noun. Why? Because only the last noun, the noun itself, can have S. So that means continent. Continent. Australia is an island continent, right? This is also gone. So now we're left with two options. And if you look at the words because and while, damn, one of them just sounds good with that of, right? Which one? Because of, while of. No doubt. It should be because of, right? But even if you didn't know, do you see we also had 50-50, two options. Even if you were not sure, you still had a 50% chance of answering the question correctly. That's what I'm talking about. A higher chance of answering the questions correctly. Let's look at the last, not the last one, the next one. All right, so before the blank, we have Botswana. It's capital letter. That's most likely a name. The next one, the word is one, and then we have a preposition of. You know what that means? It means this one is a noun. Okay? When you have a preposition, we just talked about that earlier, right? Before the preposition is usually the noun. So we have one as a noun, because one can be also used as an adjective, but this is the noun. Botswana is a name. If you don't know what Botswana is, by seeing the name, names are also nouns. And remember what I said earlier. Let me write it down here just again, just in case. Remember what I said earlier about the noun blank noun? It's most likely creating a sentence, right? So you just got to check in beginning. Do we have any verbs? No. Yet is not a verb. So more than likely you are looking for a verb. Okay? So with that said, how many verbs do we have left? We have enjoyed, remains, and endures, right? These are the verbs that we talked about earlier. Now, in here though, do we have anything? Do we have anything that resembles time? What time is it? Do we have anything that talk about time? I don't think so. Why do I ask? Because if we're not referring to anything in the past, we're not referring to any specific time, we shouldn't be talking about past tense. Then this is most likely gone. We shouldn't be talking about past tense here. Enjoyed is not going to work because they're not talking about anything specifically in the past. All right? So then we're left with two verbs, which is remains and endures. And once again, if you're not sure about the meaning, let's try to see if we can go positive or negative. Now, you might not know what the word endures means. Then let's look at the word remains. To you, does this word sound positive or maybe neutral? Because neutral is also positive. I would say remains is a neutral word. So if it's neutral, I'm calling it positive. All right, and then endures, I know what it means. It's very similar to the word suffered, okay? But endures here, I'm gonna label it negative, all right? In case you didn't know what it meant, I'm telling you now. It means the same as suffered, pretty much. Then let's take a look here and see if they are going in a positive or a negative direction. And when I see this word right here, who would ever complain about being the wealthiest? It's like, damn, I'm so rich. I think that's a problem. I don't want to have this much money. Who would ever say that? So I'm thinking this is a good thing, right? If it's a good thing, I'm going to take the positive. All right? Dun. And then lastly, we have nothing in behind the blank, but we have African in the front. Okay? So African can be a noun. It can also be an adjective. But because they have one more word at the end, this should be the noun. So they must be using African as the adjective. So if that's the adjective, then here we are looking for a noun. How many nouns do we have here? Do you agree? Once we understood that we needed to have a noun here, we only have one word that was a noun. That meant we only had one option. So it's not even 50-50. It's 100. And that's how I would answer these questions if I was not sure. If I was not sure, I would use grammar like that. And then, of course, on the website, you can check and see it is all G. All four are correct. Now, again, you probably could do this without even using any grammar, or maybe you can answer 3 out of 4 without using grammar. Then let's use grammar on the last one. All right, I hope that worked for you. I'll see you on the next one.